Is the sound better? Testing, testing, testing. We got audio. We got audio. We got audio. Let me know. All right. So like I said, peace, peace, peace. Hope y'all doing well. In a time where attention spans is less than 10%, where people are waiting for the next sensational topic, I'm appreciative that there are people who may slow down and want to tap into this type of information. This is the CueReaves experience. This channel has been a video diary of my life for the last 6 years, just expressing what I might have observed in everyday life, what I have observed from the spiritual community, what I have observed within people's subconsciouses. And I just saw the importance of not keeping this to myself, but to express this vision. I also noticed that when you express a vision, things come with this. This is why I see the importance of slowing down and taking my time expressing some of these things. I'm also seeing the importance of having to write some of these things down, because some of the things that are said in the life need to be remembered. And for these platforms, it's easy just to say things and then sometimes forget what was said. So ancients believed, the ancients, our ancestors, believed that it wasn't real if it wasn't written. This is why there's a lot of emphasis on, documenting and writing or storing the knowledge. We're just in modern day times where this knowledge is being stored on a cloud. But before it was in a cloud, it was in your blood. And before it was in the blood, it was in the trees. But thank y'all for taking the time to kind of be here. T. Thomas. Peace, 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 family. Happy to see you. It's been a while. Sunflower. Peace, 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 family. Happy to see you. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while. So I'm currently working on written material. It's titled When Darkness Sees. And it's basically going to be a combination of ancient stories with parables and sometimes even scripture-like writing or tone, so that we truly can start understanding the cult of light versus. Now, why does this play into today's video? I'm a black man. I guess that falls under darkness. And this is all going to make sense as I express this, but I'm going to do this as concise as possible while still incorporating stories that I have experienced in my day-to-day life. But the code of light versus the code of darkness is one of the oldest religions to exist. To truly understand what's going on in this life, you have to realize that you are literally in the middle of a war. A war of light and darkness. A war of beast and immortality. A war of heaven and hell. And you are in the middle of these positions, principalities, ideologies, ancestral beefs. And if you don't understand what it means to be in the middle of this cult of light and cult of darkness, you sometimes could get lost to yourself. This is why sometimes people slow down to see what has passed, aka look into one's past. And when you look into one's past via regression, something I offer, CueReaves.com. When you look into the world of past life regression, you start discovering that, whoa, there's aspects of my past that are playing into my present. And if aspects of my past are playing into my present, is it possible that my past is defining my future? Then it takes me back to that saying, you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you came from. And many of you are having complications in life right now, almost feeling lost in space because you're having difficulty accessing your past self, accessing what has passed over you. Let me give you a simple explanation. Your eyes is observing everything that is in front of you, but your eyes also has the ability to ignore. Just like your nose. Your nose is in front of you 24/7, but you have trained your eyes, your vision to ignore your nose. Nose, nosy, knowledge, gnosis, get it? They were trying to explain to us the importance of seeing what's right in front of you. That's gnosis. That's the ancient, that's the secret, that's the deep, that's the occult, that's all this extra stuff that they doing out here in the world. It's simply saying, slow down and acknowledge what you ignore. Do you understand that? How many people are missing the true depths of their life simply because they're moving too fast, simply because they're ignoring. It's where ignorance comes from. Get it? Ignoring, ignorance. You ignore the gnosis, the knowledge, the nose right in front of you. And then you wonder why you're struggling the way that you're struggling, because you have been put on a path of vision. You have been indoctrinated into the code of light. I want you to know that, okay? I went through a quantum healing hypnosis session by Dolores Cannon, trained practitioner. Oh yeah, I was invited into the cult of Dolores Cannon. And I don't think people start realizing that there are cults in our world. And these cults have a master. Cult of light, cult of darkness. And from that, there are subcategories. Now, Dolores Cannon will be dealing with the realm of darkness, the realm of the subconscious. Isn't a subway underground? Get it? It's in the darkness. So you're trying to access the subway. Remember, Neo was placed in a subway, if you're a Matrix fan. These are all references to help you understand what's happening inside of you. That there is literally stored information hidden right inside of you. And if you find a practitioner, if you find a practitioner, if you find a practice that can help you slow down and acknowledge yourself, you will start learning the depths of oneself. But we're not in the business of slowing down. We're in the business of speeding up. You're in the business of being the hare. You're not in the business of being the tortoise. So things come with that. Speeding up, things come with that. For example, when you speed up, I show speed. Speed was just here in Memphis. When you speed up, when you stimulate the ideology of fast and furious, I show speed. When you start to show these concepts to the collective, and the collective starts to embrace these ideologies, a part of their own, once again, they're following someone else's vision. They're following someone else's path without truly understanding, does this even work for me? Is this even something I should be incorporating? You ever wonder why I Show Speed got 44 million subscribers? The 44 is an important frequency, an important number. It's really the cult of Saturn. Well, I won't say that. It's the cult of time. Because time is a part of the cult of light, while space is a part of the cult of darkness. And there's literally a war between time and space. There's literally a war between the father and the mother. The mother would represent the darkness, the womb, while the Father would represent the light. These are all part of the same thing. You just have to boil it down to two things: cult of darkness and cult of light. And once you realize that there's a cult of darkness and a cult of light, and you have been exposed to both institutions, you then get a bigger and better understanding of what you have positioned yourself a part of. So let's get into it. Make sure y'all hit the like button. $ CueReaves if you're feeling generous. I only ask for $1 on this platform. I try to stay balanced in the life. So please try to do so as well if you can. I understand times are hard. Universal income didn't get ushered into the equation just yet, but as they continue to stress mental health, universal income will come. And then shortly after universal income will be universal health care. Those of you who are struggling with teeth issues, understand that this is short-lived, that there will be a time that the government will pay for you to have your teeth regrown and some of the other things that you may be struggling with right now. AI is going to force the government to see the importance of the people, because the people have information stored within their blood, and AI is obsessed with gathering information. AI is an aspect of Esther, of Easter, and it's all about gathering up the eggs. And the eggs are symbolic for, let's just say, new paradigms, new ideologies, new creations. You know, and you got to crack the egg, Humpty Dumpty. I don't attribute negativity to the hypnosis session. It essentially shows a person that past lives are real. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get into some stories so y'all can just see how real or how unreal these things are. And I'll say unreal because if you're not acknowledging them, then they're not reals. Get it? They're not on the timeline. They're not on the sequence. So they're technically unreal to you. They're unreal if you have the inability to acknowledge them. These are unreal concepts to you that I'm trying to help you see are more real than you believe. Shouts out to all the new people in the chat. MRB Vlogs, peace family. Shouts out to Christine, peace family. I'm working on developing some content of getting out in the life on some IRL type thing and really showing y'all just how subconscious this world is. You see it through people's conversations. You're going to see it through people's actions. But you need to start seeing just how real the code of light and darkness is. So we'll get into that. So when you have a main principle, you always have a motivator. If you have something that governs, there's something that governs the governed. It's called the motivator. So you have the motivator and that which governs. You have that which motivates. You have the motivator that governs the governor or the governor. let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. The cult of darkness has one major tool. That tool is the tool of touch. If you can't see, you have to use the power of touch to be able to acknowledge. Now, touch ushers in taste, smell, and sound. Something has to touch your eardrums. Something has to touch your nostrils. Something has to touch your tongue. This is how you develop taste, smell, and sound through the power of touch. So intimacy is a huge factor in the cult of darkness. Sex is a huge factor in the cult of darkness. Touch is a huge factor into the cult of darkness. But how many people touch their past lives. Now, you're going to be like, what do you mean touch your past lives? Well, I use another word for touch, grasp. Grasp. How many people have grasped their past lives? How many people have grasped what is going on into their subconscious? Very few have grasped their minds, their body. Therefore, you are enslaved to whoever is grasping you, whoever is touching you. A commercial, they're touching you. A bill in the mail, they're touching you. The fear you may have by running that light, they're touching you. These are forms of touch. And you have to understand that touch is a superpower. You ever get a gut feeling? Something touched your gut. So in the cult of darkness, the major tool is touch. In the cult of light, the major tool is vision. And if you have vision, then you can have division. And if you can have division, you can have war. And if you can have war, you can have control. So that who has the vision controls the reality. So it makes sense to prevent people from discovering their own visions and make sure someone defines what they see. If it makes sense, drop an emoji. I don't want to move too fast. If it makes sense, drop an emoji. I know it's about 95 of y'all in here. If it makes sense, drop an emoji. What I need, 25% to get it? 33%? Why you want to see my hair, bro? That's fucking weird. That's weird. It's hair. It's hair. Hair, you know? You one of them hair people? You have like a fixation with hair? No problem. No problem. No problem. No problem. No problem. You're going to tell me to calm down because I'm expressing the importance of vision and touch, and you talking about seeing someone's hair. You'll tell me to calm down. No doubt. No doubt. Thank you for your compliments. Thank you. I'll be easy. I'll calm down. You see, when you start to discover some of the things that's happening in this world and to humanity, it sometimes does put you into a rather aggressive state. So I'm going to work on that. This is why I don't like talking about this stuff all the time. Because there's other things going on in the life that are preventing people to slow down to even see why they are speeding up so much, why they're struggling so much. So because of this, I realized that I can't even drop videos like this every day. I got to give people time to go back, watch the video again if they do, or just process some of the things that I've said. But I got you. I got you. All right. Now, one of the religions of the old world, which is why I feel so comfortable in the old world. You ever have people who it's like this. It's like I see a lot of people praise Atlantis. Like I hear a lot of Atlantis talk. They were on the mountain chanting Atlanta is Atlantis. So I hear a lot of Atlantis talk. And I'm just like, bruh, do y'all even understand that Atlantis is associated to Atlas? This is where the word Atlantis comes from. It stems from an entity known as Atlas. There was never no goddess known as Atlantis. There was never no group of people who've had a cult to Atlanta or Atlantis. And if it was, it's been forgotten. So do we even acknowledge that which has been forgotten, or do we acknowledge that which was discovered? And that which was discovered is Atlas. There's still talk about Atlas. There's a whole book called the Atlas. And Atlas has been holding up the world. So every time people invoking that Atlantis frequency, I'm like, do y'all understand what comes with that? Y'all ready to hold up the world? I'm an Atlantean. I'm from Atlantis. Well, are you ready to hold up the world? Because I don't think you are. You ready to walk on the world. You ready to walk over the world. You ready to treat this world like your terrain. But are you willing to hold it up? Do y'all even know the story of Atlas? Why he was punished? Do you know his relationship with Prometheus? Anyway, but I go a little older than Atlantis. I kind of associate more to Lemuria. And in the realm of Lemuria, it is super important to know what's happening in your body and what's happening to those around you. When you don't get caught up in vision, you can hear someone lying to you. Because a voice normally speaks consistently, just like parents with their children. They know when their kids start stuttering, when they kids when they start to break a confident tone, something's off. And you would know someone's lying to you. You don't have to see it. You know what? I think we would get better at communicating if we start closing our eyes when we're listening to each other. Now, many would say that's rude, because what's one of the most important aspects of communication? Eye contact, right? Look me in my eyes. Speak to me eye to eye. But when you're speaking to people eye to eye, you tend to see the illusion they're putting up, the vision that they tell themselves. But is this the truth? Makes you go, maybe it's not. Maybe if I close my eyes, and all of us have experienced this. When you close off one sense, the other senses amplify. So if I'm trying to really sense if something's wrong with who's expressing to me, I'll close my eyes and listen to them talk. I'll put my hand over their chest so I can feel their heart. Why is your heart beating so fast? You know cops do this? Cops will touch you. Cops would touch you and be like, why are you nervous? Why is your heart beating so fast? Cops are paying attention to body language way more than they're paying attention to what you're saying. The vision that you are presenting. Because they know the importance of going deeper and using the power of touch. Keep in mind, they're in the business of touching people. They arrest people every day. So what are police a part of? They're part of the cult of darkness. If you want to start seeing who's a part of what, for example, the porn industry, they're in the cult of darkness. It has to do with touching. What is a pastor a part of? In the cult of light. It's all about telling you their vision, them interpreting the book for you. Code of light, code of darkness. You want to know the difference between the two. Now, in the code of darkness, their main premise is touch. In the code of light, their main premise is vision. So simply put, in the code of darkness, the focus is on feelings. Feelings. In the code of darkness, during the age of darkness, even sex was considered ritualistic in a sense that, like, through orgasm, they feel like they connect to the universe. Through organic energy, orgasmic energy, they feel like they touch some of the purest energy that the universe could provide. You have electric, you have magnetic, and then you have organic or orgasmic. In an orgasm, you open what some would consider to be a quantum bridge or a door or a portal. This is why in ancient times, you would not conceive a baby if you did not allow her to reach orgasm, because orgasm opens up the portal for higher forms of entities or life forms to come through. But how many women are giving birth without ever reaching orgasm? How many women are being impregnated by the man that's selfish as shit and addicted to pornography and doing all type of weird shit? So now they're birthing demon babies. They're birthing lower vibrational beings because you were in a lower vibration. Because you have not reached orgasm. It's deep. It's deep. Now, during the age of darkness, remember, touch, taste, smell, and sound were all in sync. Man, y'all, I'm doing right there. Y'all up here saying, you know, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I read y'all comments. That means I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I drink a lot of water, y'all. I drink a lot of water. I'm 40 years old. I'm 40 years old. Just saying. I got videos 3-4 years ago that looked like I was about to get out of here. Now, in the code of light, the focus is on what you can see. So I said a little saying, and then we're going to get into story time. This is an ostrich feather. It's an ostrich feather. Feathers are very, very important, family. We got to get more on our indigenous if you really want to, you know, tap in. I'm working on it, but there are here that are like levels of magic that you could do upon yourself that's impeccable. But ostrich feather, family. All right. I want y'all to remember this. And I'm working on a book that's going to help with these ideas. Those that can see can navigate. Those that can navigate can guide. Those that can guide can lead. Those that can lead can mislead. Those that mislead can be lost. Those that are lost are on a path to be found. Found by those that cannot see. It's okay, Daniel. This is a little above your pay grade. But at least you're here. Something within your soul guided you onto this channel. So even though you don't understand this, Daniel, your ancestors inside of you do. The demons inside of you do. What do you think possession is? That means that there's something inside of you that's possessing you. And if you're not a Christian, you may be into Islam, and they call them the jinn, which is also inside of you. And you're like the body or a bottle that holds on to these interdimensional or interterrestrials. So my point is, you may not understand this, Daniel. You're just a host. You're just like a child that's on the path of discovery. But fortunately, Daniel, this isn't the time for you to interrupt your discovery. This is the time where you just sit back and let your body do what it was meant to do. Get you on the path that clearly you've thrown your body off. I live on Earth, not fantasy. What did I say that was fantasy, Daniel? It sounds like you're having complications dealing with the light and darkness within yourself. And unfortunately, you have considered yourself fantasy. Wow. Then cool down. First 3 letters of fan. Start looking to yourself for the answers and stop being a stan. trying to get acknowledged by those who have discovered a level of truth for themselves. Just saying. Someone said, why am I so fruity? It's so interesting because fruit equals sweetness. And sweetness is the first drug that's ever been introduced into this paradigm. So are you saying like I'm a drug? Like I'm addicting? I'm addictive. Like you're addicted to me? To say someone is fruity, it's kind of like saying someone's sweet and sugar is a drug. Am I your drug? You should probably unsubscribe or get off this video because I ain't trying to be nobody's drug. What's wrong with you? Get your shit together. And it's crazy when someone tries to articulate things that's beyond your understanding. The first thing you run to is the fruit, Adam. Well, stop biting the apple. That's how you got lost in the first place. Just saying. Daniel, he didn't say gay. He said fruity. I'm just saying. I really can't wait to do this in person, though. Because these people really be thinking they like incredible trolls and they're not. And I can't wait to do it like eye to eye to a person. Literally. Let them say something and then get challenged in the life and they just go freeze up and probably become a fan, whip out their phone and be like, bro, what's your YouTube channel? Let me subscribe. This is interesting. Whoa, I like what's on here. You know? That's the reality of it. It's okay, though. That's a good question, Kaylor. Why does a man being clean and knowing what they're talking about equivalent, damn, I can't even say the word, equivalates to being fruity? Pure ignorance. How has a hat become silly? Do you get what I'm, do you get, these are neighbors, y'all. I'm about to continue, but I only want us to slow down to realize these are the people that we bank with. These are the people that we pay taxes with. These are the people we're on the road with, on the highway with. I'm just interested in your silly little hat. What? What, Daniel, son? If you don't go back to Mr. Miyagi, you need to do more wax on, wax off sessions, because clearly you missing it, bro. Clearly you missing it. All right, so let's go back. Look, as soon as I start to get to the depth of the video, you see the trolls? That's how it goes. It's how it goes. That's how it goes. Do you know what the fruit of the looms represents on a subconscious level or on an occult level? What that's about? Do you even know what the loom is? Alan, if you could tell me what a loom is, I'll cash app you. I'll cash app you $20. And I can see your weird ass going to run to the... let me get off this loom. I can use that $20. Let me give the definition. No, give me your definition of a loom. Do not give me Google's definition. I'm going to know the difference. That's the problem. Most people can't articulate shit for themselves. They got to run to a machine to get guidance. It's called machine learning. Get it? The only way you can learn is from a machine. I ain't gonna... Let me keep going. Fix my little silly little hat. Fix my silly little hat. What's used to make clothes? Wow. Loom as a verb. To appear as a vague or shadowy figure, especially one that is large or threatening. Okay. So I'm a drug, I'm sweet, fruit, and I'm a loom. I'm large and threatening. Y'all lit. Y'all lit. Y'all said it, not me. Y'all said it. Y'all said it, not me. Don't get mad at me when I'm using the words that y'all giving me, you know, to kind of know I'm on the right path. I'm gonna shadow form. All right, let's get back to it. Navigate, get it? I can navigate this whole conversation because I can see where it's going. They're predictable. They're so predictable. People are so predictable. Of course I can see. Do you know how easy it is to see when everyone's acting like a lab rat? Do you know how easy it is to see? You know how easy it is to discover vision when everyone is walking around with their hands over their eyes? Wow. Those that can see can navigate. Those that can navigate can guide. Those that can guide can lead. Those that can lead can mislead. Those that can mislead can get lost. Those that are lost are on a path to be found. Found by those that cannot see. That's a lot. You have to have patience with yourself to even understand that. To see is to be gifted by a curse, or cursed to be gifted. And I guess I'm cursed to be gifted because in 2009, I was exposed to a wizard. And a wizard is usually an advisor to the king and queen. And a lot of y'all be like, Q act a little feminine. Well, you have to understand how names work. Anyone that has the frequency of Quinn in it, by default, has a feminine connotation. The word Quinn is where the word queen comes from. So, my name is Quentin. The first frequency is Quinn. Queen. A feminine ruler. So in 2009, I met a wizard. He went by the name Wiz Khalifa. He was working on a project known as Black and Yellow. Black signifying the cult of darkness, and yellow signifying the cult of light. So when this wizard created this album called Black and Yellow, I realized in 2009 that the universe was telling me I'm about to be indoctrinated or ushered into something others are not a part of. Something that many ignore. The cult of light and the cult of darkness. They ignore this. They break them down into like fraternal orders. You know, this is the cult of Baal, and this is the cult of Lilith, and then it's like the cult of Christianity, and this is the cult of Islam, and like you break them down to a religious stance, and that could get confusing because names change. But if you can have a concise understanding, this is simple. You don't got to give me all this hoopla and all this confusing shit. There's the cult of darkness and the cult of light. There's the cult of touch and the cult of vision. Easy. Okay, so what is this wizard trying to tell me? Well, when I went to go get the tickets to go see this wizard in concert, I'm from New Haven, Connecticut. Shouts out to the tri-state. Shouts out to New Haven, Connecticut. If you're from New Haven, Connecticut, and you watch this video, please put the name of our city in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Big up to Connecticut. Big up to New Haven. New Haven is a term also referred to as New Heaven, because a haven is a safe place. And the history of New Haven is they had a trading outpost in the 16th century. And this trading port was said to be incorporated with Moors and Tartarians, basically people who were operating in America and creating and establishing trade and all this other stuff. And one of the people they trade with were the Knights of Templars. All right, this is how New Haven, Connecticut becomes Skull and Bones home, because the Skull and Bones is an extension of the Knights of Templar. So are the Masons. But the Knights of Templar were not pillagers. They were not colonizers. They were equalists. They treated others very similar to how they treated themselves. So in the 16th century, late 1500s, they started to establish trade with the Mohegans. This was an indigenous tribe in New Haven, Connecticut. And a lot of the areas that they were colonizing were not havens, were not safe places. The indigenous was kicking their ass. So New Haven was one of the first places that actually had indigenous and Europeans working together. Unfortunately, when Christopher Columbus and his Spaniards came, they disrupted, and keep in mind, Christopher Columbus adorned on his ships the symbol of the Templars. So he was perpetrating, like, oh no, I'm a Templar. So when the indigenous saw Christopher Columbus, they were like, boom, let's trade. But when Christopher Columbus is like a gang member, when the gang member perpetrating like he blood, perpetrating like he Crip, perpetrating like he GD or BD, and don't have Lango, don't have any of the hand signs, they know they lying. So Christopher Columbus had the symbol on blood, but didn't have any of the symbology to support it. So that's when the indigenous realized that he was a liar, and that's when it became war. As they deconstruct basically stone facilities to initiate this trade. They broke the bricks down and then recreated the bricks into a building now known as Yale or Yule or Yale. So Yale is really based on older trade posts, and they broke down those stones and rebuilt them at Yale. Of course, there are Tartarian buildings still in Yale right now. All right, so let me just keep going. So in New Haven, in order to get the tickets, I had to go to a head shop. Now, this is 2009, so marijuana was passed in California around this time, so you was able to smoke if you had a medical card in California. And it started to kind of go around that, marijuana is starting to become something that could be used medicinally. So when I go into the head shop and I look at these little dried up herbs in his showcase, I'm like, yo, is that weed? He's laughing. He's like, no, that's far from weed. That is something we call Salvia divinerum. Salvia. I said, okay, what's that? He says it's a sacred sage that the indigenous would use to access other worlds. And I'm like, access other worlds? What do you mean access other worlds? He says, well, on my own experience, I've never really accessed another world, but I've accessed other dimensions. So I'm sitting here talking to him now. This is an old white guy. And I'm like, all right, what do you know about dimensions? And he says, since I've been trying Salvia divinerum, I have my own theories on what dimensions are. So I said, okay, so let me get this right. You took an hallucinogen that's natural, comes from Mother Earth. You took this natural hallucinogen, and this hallucinogen starts to speak to you. He says, wow, damn, I never thought of it like that. I said, well, of course. I said, you don't remember the biblical story of the tree? You bite the apple, you gain knowledge. Get it? Plants, trees, fruit, vegetation has information locked in it, has information stored within it. You know what's crazy, Daniel? For you to be talking all this shit you still here. What does that say about you? If you know this is all crazy talk, why are you participating in the craziness? The last person that did this said he doing this for Allah. What you doing this for, Daniel? This is the last time I'm going to acknowledge you. Clearly, you need some acknowledgement. The first three letters of Dan is D-A-N, and if you move the letters around, it's A-N-D, meaning continuation. It probably can't sit still. It's always like and I'm Dan, and I'm Dan. So I get it, Dan. Daniel, what are you here for? What is your purpose? He says, and I'm Dan. I'm right, Dan. I'm right. You fanned out, Dan. You're a fan. And it's okay. I don't mind you being a fan. The rest of y'all, don't be no fan. All right? Y'all could be cool yourself. But Dan, he a little imbalanced. He got too much hot chi running through his body. He need to cool the fuck down. So he need to be a fan. Fandemonium. Fan the fuck out. I get it. I get it. See, I'm your biggest fan. Well, at least we got a new fan. So, I'm cool. So try to use a little of that fandom on yourself. Be a fan of yourself. Daniel, if you don't get anything out this video, which you may not, be a fan to yourself. Be proud of yourself. Appreciate yourself. Cool yourself down. I don't need your fan. Now, back to plants having information. So I said, okay, so you're telling me that you tried this salvia and it allowed you to tap into dimensions. He says, that's what I feel like I did. I said, all right, tell me your experience. He said, I was a clock. I was like, what? A clock? He was like, yeah, I took the salvia, and he says, I kid you not, I was a clock. I said, oh, okay, that's different. What does the reality of a clock look like? Like, what does life look like as a clock? He says, it's fast and slow. He says, we got one hand that moves slow. But I got another hand that moves fast. I said, damn, that's kind of like our right hand and left hand. Our right hand is like the seconds. Our left hand is like the hours. Because you use your left hand. You just don't slow down to acknowledge it. But like, damn, so like, are we all clocks? Like, am I a clock somewhere on the quantum realm? Like, when they be saying you're everything everywhere all at once, there's a multitude of you. Is one version of me a clock right now? Is that why when you take salvia, it's possible that you can tap into your clock self? Interesting. Interesting. And then I realized that the clock is broken into 4 sections, 3, 6, 9, 12, which is very similar to like the cardinal signs, fire, earth, air, water, north, south, east, west. So I said, damn, is it possible that all of us literally had to be clocks in order for us to be a part of the illusion of time? To know a thing, you got to know a thing. In order for me to even believe in time, what if I was time itself? Damn. Damn. Okay. Tell me more. Tell me more, Paul. All right, Paul, tell me more. He says, all I know is that I was still, but yet I was in motion. That's another thing. Damn. Okay. How many people sitting behind a desk but working? Still but in motion. How many people are reading books, silent but still loud? Huh. I said, okay. I then was fortunate enough to be able to connect with other people in the life and I'm not going to make this a race thing, but I'm just going to be realistic. A lot more white people have tried salvia than black people. I know maybe about 50 different people that have tried salvia. About 46 of them were white people. 4 of them were black. Most of the people that I communicated that were white, that had salvia, often talked about going into what I refer to as the second dimension. Good look, K-Dot. Happy we found this channel. Happy we found each other. Real shit. Happy we found each other. It's teamwork. I ain't trying to be above nobody. Just know that, K-Dot. And it's interesting because K-Dot, a.k.a. Kendrick Lamar, was the first person within the last year to even bring up past life regression. So it's beautiful you hear because it's just more confirmation I'm on the right path. Thank you so much for the give and receive, family. Thank you so much for being balanced in the life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Now, I've asked. People have told me they have been toilet paper. See, this is why I've explained in previous videos that you need to be careful what you do in life. Because time is not linear, it's a circle. So you could go backwards, you can go forward. So if you're an asshole in life, you may be toilet tissue. And you're responsible for connecting to assholes every day. Every day. You an asshole. Now, I didn't come up with that concept. I'm talking to the person who saw himself as toilet paper on Salvia. And I was like, what was your conclusion? He was like, can I be truthful with you? I said, for sure. He was like, I think I realized I'm an asshole. I said, so you took the salvia and the salvia kind of like showed you was toilet tissue. And your conclusion was you an asshole? He was like, yeah, no, real shit. I think that's the case. And I need to work on myself. Cause I don't want to leave this corporal form and then I fuck around and I'm still a part of the light of the universe, because understand what science refers to as the Big Bang, it's really what we would call photonic release. So this is a part of a black hole. But surrounding every black hole is a quasar. And this quasar is the remaining light that stayed after boom. All right? So some light stayed, some light separated. Just take a breath for a second. Just take a breath for a second. This is what I concluded, because there's a lot of stuff I got to talk about. The first dimension is considered the dimension of the micro world. That's the dimension of atoms, molecules, and cells. So a toilet tissue has atoms, has molecules. It doesn't have cells. It has cellular structure, but it does not have cells in the same way we understand them. But they are atoms and molecules. You are made up of atoms, molecules, cells. Cells gather together and become organs. Organs are organized. And you are this walking organ you see right now. But eventually you're going to lose your organization. And you will be scattered and spread across the universe again. And one of your scatterings, or one of the manifestations of you being a scattered brain or a scattered soul, is you will incarnate as a roll of tissue. And you may exist for a week. And then you get flushed down the toilet. And then eventually you return back to Earth. And then hopefully you will be a part of some type of cellular structure again. And hopefully you will obtain a body. But it's a path. And not everyone earns the path forward. Not everyone gets to immortality. Some of you are going to go backwards. Why am I breaking down toilet tissue? Because you're an asshole. And because I care about my neighbors so much, I'm trying to do everything I can to prevent you from coming back in life and existing for 1 week, wiping people's ass. Because although I do feel at times you deserve to be toilet paper, I also believe you deserve to be something better. That's why. Because not only could you potentially be the toilet tissue that gets wiped and flushed down the toilet, you could be the residue that stays on people's ass. Get it? Your asshole behavior stuck with a person. You were such an asshole, you've affected a person's day. You shouldn't have toilet tissue around your ass, family. It's a harborer for bacteria. So, when I realized that the first dimension has everything to do with atoms, cells, molecules, I said the second dimension then has to be associated to the tools that are responsible for these atoms, molecules, and cells to get in motion. So the atom or the molecule is the microcosmos of the toilet tissue. It's basically that which makes up the toilet tissue, but the second dimension is the toilet tissue itself. So easily put, second dimension are the tools of atoms, molecules, and the tools of organs. Because the third dimension is an organ. You are an organ. And you became organized. And in your organization, you needed tools to remain organized. So the second dimension is the tools of the organizer, which you are your third dimensional organ. And then eventually your organs are going to be so pressurized, so, let's just say, tested, that sometimes it could feel like you're going through death. But some people go through death and don't die. Some people look at it as an aspect of rebirth, an aspect of resurrection. But if I sat here and go through the dimensions, that would be a whole nother conversation. And I'm really trying to get into the topic at hand, which is I'm a black man. How I get into past life regression. We go get into it. So I took Salvia. I had a mind-blowing experience. I'm on Salvia. There's a big-ass tree. Now, what blows my mind about Salvia is I didn't know that you can get pulled into another world. And it's realer than a dream. I've dreamed. We've all dreamed. How the hell did a drug bring me to another world and it feels more real than any dream I have ever had? How did a drug, bro, I was sitting in my bedroom. How is my mind and my body in my bedroom, but yet my light form or my identity, that's what word we'll use. My identity was somewhere else. My mind and my body was in my bedroom, but my identity was somewhere else. How? How does that work? How am I in two places at once? And if I can be in two places at once, does the government use this? Like, is this weaponized? If our minds can literally project our identity to other spaces and places, yo, that's a fucking superpower. What the hell? I can see why they banned it. I can see why they don't allow Salvia in the world. Because you literally can have the ability to be in two places at once. I've experienced that. And when I did the Salvia, I literally heard hooves coming from behind a tree. Is the sound still working? I had to turn the car around real quick. Make sure the sound all right. Salvia ain't no joke. Don't be calling on something you may not be ready for. Okay, it's working. Okay. Now, bro, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that? What is that? And then the goddamn Narnia, the Chronicles of Narnia, the little goat thing with the hairy legs and the no shirt Chronicles of Narnia, you know, Phineas. This thing don't come around the tree talking about, oh, fuck this. What the fuck? Who the fuck you cussing at? Yeah, nah, fuck this. You're not supposed to be here. I need y'all to know, at this time, I was a little damaged in the mind. I went through a lot of crazy stuff when I was in Atlanta. I went to Clark Atlanta University, and the stuff that I experienced while I was in Atlanta is mind-boggling. I mean, people try to kidnap me. They try to throw me in vans. They done came to my job, try to pull me out my car, throw me in a U-Haul van. I done went to jail. I done had to pull my gold teeth out and use it as a weapon. Like, I was a little, like, clicked out. I ain't even gonna hold you. So, like, I didn't submit to anyone in life. So what the fuck you think I'm about to submit to you in this fantasy world? I ain't about to do that. And who the fuck are you? Like, why is there a goat man in front of me right now? It was blowing my fucking mind. Like, yo, what is this? So then it grabs me and pulls me. Get the fuck off me. Ain't nobody, I didn't touch you, don't touch me. And he's like, oh, so you're gonna be defiant. Oh, okay, all right. And he blows his little flute. And each flute hit a different chakra. He hit that last note, bro. I didn't know what was about to happen to me. But I remember I saw a dark room. Now, I want y'all to remember this. Y'all need to know this. The Gnostics and the indigenous say that you do not want to go into the light. They overly express that light is called an archonic light. It is a light that will reincarnate you back into the physical plane without your memories. Now, can you reincarnate back into the corporal or physical plane? Yes. Can you come back into the physical plane with your knowledge and memories? Yes. But that would be called a walk-in. Now, I don't know if y'all heard this term or not, but a walk-in is a very complex construct. Some want to say walk-ins are evil and the devil and all this other stuff. Okay. What if I don't want to forget everything that I've accomplished in the previous lives that I've experienced? Especially if I have one specific life I spent learning all my past lives. Now I remember 10 previous lives, 10 previous incarnations that come with knowledge, abilities, that come with a range of things. Now, this one vessel has finally gained all that knowledge, and you think I'm about to just walk into your archonic light and get Men in Black and have you just make me forget everything that I've accomplished? Why would I do that? When I can potentially walk into a corporal body that has forgotten itself. And now I can aid this body in remembrance while then also furthering my experience. But y'all look at that as evil. No doubt, I get it. It could go over a lot of people's heads. No worries. I'm not telling y'all to be nobody's walking. You just need to understand the concept, though. You need to understand the concept from an unbiased position. Get out your feelings. Get out the thoughts that others have projected on you and just simply ask the question, could it be helpful if I never forget all the stuff that I fought for to remember, and now I can connect to a body and we work together in this thing you call life? Y'all get it? Hold on. My bad. We back. So, one of the things I teach some of the people who look to me for help in meditation or etc., you have to develop a better relationship with your darkness. And you have to develop a better relationship with what we were calling sparking your darkness. So for those of you who may want a little tip on how to get deeper into oneself, sometimes people use mirrors, sometimes people use candles. You stare into the flame, you stare into the mirror. Basically, if you stare at something long enough, you zone out a little bit. Have you ever had that experience where you're looking at something and then you kind of zone out and it gets blurry? This is all part of what the fire and the mirrors do. But get into sparklers. Because in darkness, you have to spark an idea. So if you use sparklers, you are training your body to say that I am the one that can spark my darkness. I am the one that can add luminescence, light in a dark space. If you start training yourself to do this now, you're training yourself to do it in the afterlife. All right, so after he hit the flute, I saw a completely dark space, and then a sparkler lit up. And the sparkler started to spin in a circle like Sonic's rings. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? And then it was like a portal inside the sparkler. In the room, well, in the portal was the room that I was taking the Salvia in. So I started freaking out. I was like, oh my God, yo, what the hell did I just do? I done messed around and transitioned. I actually literally thought I transitioned. And I didn't freak out. What are you supposed to do? What do you think, what is freaking out in death going to do? What is freaking out in life going to do? When has ever freaking out ever helped anything? If you see, as above, so below, what happens now will happen later. If you're training yourself to be able to handle anything in the life, then you're most definitely going to be able to handle anything in the afterlife. It's the same construct. It's a continuation. It's a continuum. But if you don't continue what you set forward and what you kind of put in motion, then you won't have that continuum in your afterlife. How? Make sure we hit the like button. There's 150 of y'all in here. Let's get the likes up to 100. We only need 13 likes. Double tap the screen. Double tap the screen. Y'all sat here long enough. Tap the screen. It ain't gonna hurt you. Tap, double, or leave. Or leave. I respect it. This ain't a numbers thing for me. I figured out how to hack the numbers. I'll drop some shorts. This ain't about numbers. This is about those who get it, support, and those that don't can leave. So when I looked into this portal, I instantly said, oh my God, I transitioned. So then something weird happened where like a book was created. And it was like each page came to life. So from there, I kind of fought the book because I was like, I don't want to die. And the book was like, you got to let go. And it's like, in order for you to see beyond the book, you got to close the book. And I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Close the book. I closed the book. I was fortunate enough then to see myself like a giant. Thank you so much for the give and receive, family. Thank you for the $5 gifted. And I was able to see myself like a giant. I saw myself like a footprint, to be honest. I didn't just see myself like a giant. I saw myself as a footprint. And I got extremely emotional in the trip. So like I was crying in my mind, which is crazy. And I remember feeling accomplished. Accomplished was the best word that I could describe, because I literally said, wow, I'm a footprint to something that is large, that is immaculate. I'm a footprint for what, if I was to put a name on it, is God. And a footprint is proof. Seeing is believing. It's like tracking a deer. You're looking for the footprints. So how do I follow God if I don't know that God even exists? And if I then can realize not only can I follow God, I am an aspect of God. I am the footprint of God. Oh my goodness. And I've been a part of a lot of religious orders, but religion has never allowed me to truly feel like I was a part of God. Why did I have to take nature? Why did I have to go to nature to feel God? Why did I have to go to nature to feel God? That should tell you something. You ain't reaching God going through no man, and you're not reaching God going through no man-made construct. The temples, religion, the cloths, all that, man-made concepts. Even if God created the tree, he didn't create the water that hydrates it. God hovered over the waters. So even then, this water, this hydration, which is in the plants, which is really what's giving us this knowledge, is not just the trees. It's the water molecules or the information that's stored in there. Water holds memories. So the water is being in these trees, in this vegetation, and you're consuming it, gaining additional knowledge. So, wow, damn, I am a footprint of God. And the moment I realized that I was the footprint of God, it switched, and I was no longer a footprint. I was the eyes. I was high. I literally was low to the ground. It's like I can taste the dirt. And then it switched instantaneously where I was like 50 feet in the air. And I was just looking around. I was like, oh my goodness. I am a part of God. I am like the vision of God. I am like the eyes of God. And this is when I started realizing, damn, Q, you may be connected to vision. But then I realized if you have the vision, you're the navigator. And if you're the navigator, you're the leader. But what if I don't want to lead? What if I'm never was interested in being in the business of leading? I didn't think about that. I just wanted to navigate my sea. I just wanted to navigate the waves. But then I realized not everyone can float. Not everyone can navigate. And in that, I realized that there is a responsibility then that I can choose to take on or not. And I guess I'm taking the path of navigator. No matter how much I may fight it or be against it. I may fight that I have a vision. But it doesn't change the fact that I have a vision. Message. This ain't just for me. This is for you too. So, I take the Salvia. I see myself as this larger than life concept. And I come back completely different. We now fast forward the tape. And I'm in New Orleans. And I am now getting a regression. A past life regression, which has been called QHHT. Quantum, all positions at once. North, south, east, west. Fire, earth, air, water, all at once. Quantum healing. So hold on, I'm listening to the names. So you're saying I need to heal the 4 parts of myself, the 4 directions of myself, the 4 elements of myself. Wow, okay. Quantum healing, hypnosis technique. It's that hypnosis word I had a problem with. Now, I was willing to participate with it because we're here to explore. When you start to become fearful of exploration, you become fearful of yourself. So I was like, no, I'm going to play this out. So when I had my session, I saw myself as a white ape, a white yeti, a white Bigfoot, like an albino. Very similar to the movie The Rock did with that white ape. And I realized that I was a part of like a tribe and that we weren't the same, that they were a tribe of the sun and I was a tribe of the moon. And as a tribe of the moon, we were dispersed. We were two-faced. Do y'all even know what that comes with? To be a tribe or a cult of the sun and to be a tribe or a cult of the moon. You are by nature two-faced. The moon, 2 faces. There's the side that you see and the side that's hidden. Oh, shit. All right. Well, then I got to work on making sure that I revolve. Get it? That I don't stay in one position. If the moon is stuck and I'm an extension of the moon, then I got to help the moon get in motion. So then I got to revolve. Keep in word, evolve is a part of revolve. I have to be the revolution to help my moon, my mother, deal with her being two-faced. Facts, DJ. Today. Takes 2 to tango. So it's 2 sides of the story. So when I realized that I had an association to the moon, my higher self came forward. And my higher self was like, I love the moon. I have a fixation with the moon. Me and the moon are associated to each other. I am a child of the moon. I am the moon child. And what's so crazy about regression is you're saying stuff but you're not thinking about it. That is one of the craziest things I've discovered with regression work. Yes, I do regression therapy. CueReaves.com if you want a past life regression, if you want a subconscious regression. My higher self came forward and was speaking on like autopilot. And I remember thinking to myself, who the fuck is saying this stuff? Like, who's thinking about this? I ain't never acknowledged the rituals to the moon. I never sat outside and just stared at the moon for a consistent period, you know, every so often. But like, I had no inkling of how much I idolized or cared about the moon. And I'm up here in this session that cost $500, spending a whole hour talking about how much I love the moon. I was blown away when I went back and listened to it, because I was like, yo, I've never known I cared this much about the moon. Shortly after that, though, my higher self started to like talk to the practitioner who was regressing me. Now, I do my best. I'm not perfect. But I do my best to not try to be egotistical or mean to people. I'm human. Shit happens. But I try to do my best not to be that person. I don't want to be egotistical, and I don't want to be mean to people. But for some reason, my higher self was being a little mean to this lady and being a little egotistical. Shout out to Brazil. So I'm like, wait, hold on. Everything that I've been reading on the internet about the higher self is like, the higher self is like, it's like the closest thing to like being connected to God. It's like the God self or the goddess self. And then I'm like, well, shit, if the higher self is connected to God, then is God mean and egotistical? Especially when my higher self specified that it was an angelic intelligence. There's a name for it. Sabbathel, if y'all want to look it up. Sabbathel. My higher self referred to itself as Sabbathel. Now, it's interesting because this voice spoke to me when I was in California, in Lancaster. To cast her. To use the land to cast her. Land cast her. California. Spoke to me. Clear as day. So it wasn't foreign to me when this voice started to speak again in my regression. We finished the regression. And she says, have you ever thought about doing regression work? I was like, no. And she was like, you should do it. I said, why? She says, because kind of what you was doing in your regression is a form of regression work, but you were doing it to me. I said, okay. I said, I'll try it. I'll try this thing you're calling quantum healing hypnosis technique. I'll try it. I'll be a part of the Dolores Cannon movement. I was there for 1 week. Now, whenever you're thinking about signing up for something or being a part of something, please keep in mind the first thing you should do is ask questions, not the last thing you should do. It shouldn't be the last thing you should do. The first thing you should do is ask questions. So that's what I did. The first thing I did was ask questions, especially questions that I did not have answers to. For example, as soon as I was done getting a regression, the first thing I did was go to my house and the person that I was talking to. And she was dealing with some issues. And she started to cry and started to become emotional. And I asked her, I said, I want you to call forward whatever energy wants to help you with this. And Gabriel came forward. The angel Gabriel. And you ever see someone that's on like demon time and they like are dark? Like, whoa. Or heavy? Either dark or heavy. You ever notice you looked at people and be like, yo, they're fucking heavy. Ooh, they're dark. Well, that's what she was at the beginning. As soon as this angel connected to her, I kid you not, everything lightened up. It was almost like a weight was lifted off of her. It was crazy to observe this. I was like, yo, wow. Okay. So Gabriel, an angel, comes forward in this regression session. So the first thing I did was I went to the quantum healing meeting and I told them. I said, hey, I had a regression recently and I called forward Gabriel and he came forward. They looked at me like, and I'm like, what the fuck is that about? Why are you acting like that? They're like, you're not supposed to do that. I said, what do you mean I'm not supposed to do that? It helped. Yeah, but you're not supposed to call forward any energies. The only thing you deal with is their past lives and their higher self. I said, but that ain't all that's to deal with. There's more than just your past self. I said, what about your future self? I said, what about other versions of yourself? No. Don't do that. Just focus on their past lives, their past selves, and their higher self. I said, that's fake. That's not real. There's more going on with people. What about their demons? What about their ancestors? I just had so many questions. I was like, there's a range of things probably happening within our minds, within our subconscious. And you're talking about limiting? That sounds like religion. I said, so y'all being like religion. Y'all being like all the other groups out here where you are containing and restricting your flock. I said, I don't want to be a part of nobody's cheap-ass, restricted-ass flock movement. I said, I don't want to be a part of this. And they're meeting and they're gathering around and they're like huddling up like it's motherfucking Super Bowl. And then one of their elders come forward and is like, can I talk to you? Come on. Can we, come on, just come with me. Would you like some tea? Like the fucking police. You know when the police want something out you in an interrogation, you know you need anything? Want some water? How about bologna sandwich, young thug? You know, we'll take care of you. It's like they try to sweeten you up. I don't know. I don't want none of that shit. Don't give me nothing. I'll drink my motherfucking saliva because I don't trust none of that right now. Y'all trying to butter me up. I don't want none of that right now. Just talk to me real. What is the problem? This motherfucker looked at me eye to eye in my face and said, are you sure you don't want to be a part of this? I said, yes, I am sure that I don't want to be a part of something that's restrictive. They said, but you don't see the benefit that will come with this? So how's she talking to me? The benefits? I said, what benefits? Well, we don't really have that many black men in this business. I said, okay. And like, we really can use you. I said, I don't want to be used. Oh, no, not use you, but use you. I said it's the same thing. Don't just because you said it in a different way, don't make it okay. Well, no. We don't want to use you. We want to use you. Okay. See, just know that this is a very lucrative business. I said, I know. I done paid the bitch $500 for this. I know it's a lucrative business. No. Don't worry about that. Matter of fact, do you want me to have her give you your money back? We can do that. We can have her give you your money back. No, this is not, she did her job. No, I don't want my money back. You're weird. No, listen. Just listen. Try to hold my hand. Just listen. We need people like you. You know, we need like the face. You can be the face of Dolores Cannon. You know, just between me and you know. White people, they don't really like white people right now. They don't really like white people right now. So it's like white people are not even popular right now. But you, Coca Mocha, Caramel Macchiato, you? What, bro? Rated X, I'm acting right now, and I'm showing you what a woman was behaving like, but you know, you're a little retarded, so I get that it may be difficult for you to keep up with the story. So just to help you, just to hold your hand. This is acting. So if I'm acting zesty, it's acting. But you know, a lot of things go over your head. So, well then if you just got here, shut the fuck up and just listen. That'd be my problem. Like, that'd be their response every time. I just got here, bro. I just got here. Then shut the fuck up. That's your problem in life. You speak before you even know what the fuck is going on, and then you wonder why you're struggling right now. And I promise you're struggling because you're here on this channel. We're all here on this channel because we're struggling with this fake-ass reality we're in right now. We're struggling with the fake-ass people, these fake-ass comments. We are fucking struggling right now. But at least we're struggling together. At least we're doing it together, Rated X. I got you. Maybe you need to get some more X's so you're not all alone. You should go Rated XXX. Maybe that would help you be a little more balanced in the life. Rated XXX. Anyway, she's like, you know, we really could use a black face. I said, dude, this bitch just blackface me? Did she really just go out? She just threw that shit all the way out there. Like, you know, we could really use a black face. Okay. I said, thank you for the invite, but I will gracefully bow the fuck out. I am not about to be your blackface. Thank you, though. Thank you, though. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm out. I'm out. I don't want to be your blackface. I'm out. Checking something. Hold on. I'm up here talking to y'all to death. I'm supposed to be going to get dinner and, you know, I'm supposed to be doing certain things. Oh, I'm a poop jet. You're not black. You're a poop jet. All right. If you getting something out of it, hey, all the power to you. If you getting something out of telling someone they're a poop jet, no doubt. I've came to the conclusion that a lot of y'all are struggling in life because no one gives a fuck about what y'all gotta say. So I'll be the one person that would actually care about you right now. I'm sorry that your mama and your daddy neglected you to the point where you gotta come on other people's live and call them a poop jet. I don't even know what the fuck that is. But if it feel right. If it feel right. Do what feel right. I ain't gonna hold you. Okay, we good. Boom. Boom. What time they close? Boom, we good. We good. Alright, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Shouts out to Brazil. Honestly, dude, who cares, Mr. Reeves? I believe you. You should embrace the love and hate. I do. That's why I acknowledge it. If I didn't acknowledge the hate, then that would symbolize I don't embrace it. But I embrace it by acknowledging it. I don't ignore them. A lot of other people just ignore them. I don't really see the importance of always ignoring them. Sometimes there is. So anyway, she's like, You could be the black face. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not about to be nobody's fucking black face. I'll gracefully bow out to that weird ass projection. So they got mad at me that I wasn't willing to like stick to their little weird script, and I was willing to go deeper in people's subconscious. Which I realized that was like a gatekeeper. That was someone that was placed there to kind of like prevent me from being able to like going deeper on this journey. So, what happens next? I start to create my own Facebook group. And eventually this lady comes to me that has what she believes to be a demon inside of her. And they're like, Q, you ever do exorcisms? And I'm like, sure. You know, at the end of the day, exorcism is just making the body exercise. And if you look at exercising, it's kind of pushing the body to do things it doesn't normally do. So sure, I can help you push your body to do things you don't normally do. That's exercising to me. So if you want me to exercise, if you want me to show you how to exercise your mind, I got you. It is a muscle. You need to exercise it. You can't just work on your pecs, bro. You can't just work on these abs, bro. The mind is a muscle too. So when Kate got involved, I regressed her. And the first thing that came up, this is the first thing this spirit said, this energy said, this consciousness said. It said, I don't give a fuck who you are or what you're doing. Can you please just convince this dumb bitch to give us soda again? I said, you do know that you're talking through her right now, right? Yeah. But that doesn't change the fact that she's a dumb bitch. Bro, you hate who houses you? Like, how do you hate your host? And you showed up with the invitation. Like, how do you hate your host? And why the fuck you want soda? And then what blows my mind even more is that ain't the only reference I've seen where aliens, because I'm going to just call it an alien. Let me ask y'all, any of y'all 80s babies in here, y'all remember a movie called Mac and Me? Mac and Me. Facts. This is why everyone has diabetes nowadays. Facts. That is something inside of them that's craving these things. Do you see this? This is a movie done in the 80s where the aliens were being influenced by Coca-Cola. Got trapped by Coca-Cola. So I'm on the phone and this fucking alien talking about, can you just convince this dumb bitch to give us soda again? Sugar water. Sugar water. Men in Black. Sugar. More sugar. Sugar water. That's the second reference. What's it saying? Fool me once, fool me twice? That's two different references. They're talking about extraterrestrials or aliens being addicted to sugar water. Because there's a demon inside of you that wants sugar water. But it's not as simple as just calling it a demon. It's deeper than just a demon. It's actually a reptile. The energy that was inside of Kate was literally a reptile. It first said, convince this dumb bitch to give us soda. And then the second thing it said, how dare you humans treat this planet the way you've been treating it? I've been in this fat bitch for over 30 years, and all I see from y'all is destruction and pollution. Yo, it fucked my whole head up, because it's like, damn, what if the demons ain't even like pro-God? Maybe they're like pro-earth. And then it shows me that the animal life is addicted to sugar. They are. Bears, honey, deer with the fruit that they chew, insects with the sweet nectar or pollen that comes from flowers. It starts making me think, damn, yo, nature low-key addicted to sugar. So it's like, damn, salt and sugar is like one of the ways it anchors you into this earth. It's like one of the ways you get anchored into earth. Sugars and salts. I'll work on some subtitles, y'all. I'll work on some subtitles. I said, okay, well, I said, do you know what you are? He says, yes, I am one of the original inhabitants on this planet. I said, how do you know that? He said, because that is what is shown. I said, how do you know that you're one of the original inhabitants of Earth? He says, because I am reptile by nature. I said, how do you know that you're a reptile? He says, because I'm in a mammal and we're not the same. This shit starts getting interesting. I'm on the phone now like, okay, shit, I want to know more. Like, all right, okay. Tell me more. I said, but how do you know y'all were the original ones? He said, because that's what you believe in, and that's what is shown. I said, so you don't know for a fact that you are the original inhabitants? He says, I don't know anything for a fact. I've forgotten everything when I entered this body. Oh shit, that's another layer. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. When we get into this body, damn, the same thing happens to us. Like, we forget our past lives. So is it possible that another creature or being who loses its body and is forced inside of a body, it forgets itself too? I'm like, damn, for sure. Okay, damn. So it ain't just humans that are dealt with this. All forms of beings that enter a body are forced to forget. See, it's very similar to like when the sperm hits the egg, the tail gets cut off. The tail is like the body. The body stores a lot of your memories. They're stored in your organs. You think your memories is just a mind thing, and it's way deeper than just your mind. Your memories are infused in your organs. That's why the indigenous took good care of the organs. This is why there's an organ trade and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because For example, if I want to be a LeBron, well, there are certain aspects of LeBron that I could put a part of me, and then maybe I could tap into the superpower of LeBron. This is, some get out stuff. This is stuff that they believe in, and even have some level of science to back up this belief. So it expressed to me that when it enters the body, it forgets, but because it is able to see through our eyes, it existed in Kate for 30 years. Kate is 36 years old. It entered Kate and when she was 6 years old, it entered Kate based on a traumatic experience that Kate had when she was 6. So that explained how it entered her in the first place, through trauma. And then the trauma split her and opened up a portal or aspect of her to tap into a ghost. The ghost is a reptile. The reptile enters inside Kate. Now he is inside Kate for 30 years, and he says, what the fuck you think dinosaurs are? This is what it just told me. What the fuck you think dinosaurs are? They reptiles, right? And I was like, yeah. And he says, and what did science tell you? What was first, reptiles or mammals? I said, damn, I guess science and what we've taught and what school indoctrinates us to believe is that reptiles were first. He said, exactly. So I'm the indigenous, and y'all fucking our planet up. Okay. Damn. All right. You know what? You right, bro. You right. I ain't gonna hold you. You right. So now what? He was like, so you believe me? I said, yeah, I believe everything you're saying. So you trust me? Whoa. I don't know about trust. We're gonna have to work up to trust. So then it was like, well, what can I do to help you trust me? So it got like desperate, like it wanted a friend. So I was like, well, if you are a consciousness inside of Kate, are you the only consciousness inside of Kate? Oh, no. No. There's others in here. I said, there's other beings inside of Kate? Uh-huh. I said, how many? Uh-huh. I said, well, how many are you aware of? 4. I said, so there's 4 beings inside of Kate? Uh-huh. I said, what do they think about you? Only one of them well, 2 like me. I said, so 2 like you. What about the other 2? Oh, the other 2 want to get rid of me. I said, well, what are they? Well, it's 2 girls and 2 guys. So eventually we find out it don't remember its name. It wants a name. Her name was Kate, let's say Jenkins. So I was like, what if we call you KJ? You need an identity. You need to be grounded. I would love to be called KJ. Can I have the name KJ? Sure. Like, maybe she's not a bitch after all. Like it starts, doing this. It's acting real childlike. It's like a child. Wow, and if the bodies are temples, then why can't things enter and exit it? Woo! DID and sexual trauma, for sure. For sure. Which is a part of Satanism. Now, it doesn't help that she was a part of a prestigious Jewish family. So there's a lot of other things that they do that we don't normally do in our society. So they become even more susceptible to some of these things. Just so you know. Make sure y'all hit the like button. $ CueReaves if you're feeling this conversation. CueReaves@gmail, that's my Zelle. Hold me down. I'm holding y'all down. I'm trying to give y'all inner standing, inner insight. All right, let's keep going. I said, all right, well, tell me about the 2 that like you. He says, well, you have to understand that the body has been broken up in directions. And this is a reptile telling me this. Now, many people be like, Q, how you get your knowledge? How you get your awareness? Nigga, I listen. I listen to the life. I listen to the owls. I listen to the night. I listen to the sun. I listen to people. I listen to your body. I listen to your subconscious. I listen to your eyes. I listen. I'm a great listener. I'm observant. I want you to understand that possession can sometimes be forced upon you. You are someone's possession when you are born, especially the way these parents behave. And if they open up the construct of them possessing you, they open up the doorway to others possessing you. And when your parents treat you like a possession, it opens up the door to possession. Sometimes I saw someone say it's a lost soul. Maybe it's a forced soul. Maybe it's not even lost. It's been forced. And another word for forced is enforced. It's been enforced certain ideologies that open up the realm of possession. I said, tell me about these 4 directions. And he was like, well, the South and the West work with each other. And the North and the East work with each other. I said, okay. So the South and the West like you. Yeah. I say, do you praise the mother or the father? It says, oh, I always would praise the mother. I said, oh, okay, so you're part of the cult of darkness. He was like, explain. So then I explained it. And I said, and if they rock with you, then they're a part of the cult of darkness as well. So the Southwest symbolizes the subconscious, symbolizes the darkness of oneself, the hidden ones. I said, then there are 2 that almost make themselves known, but you don't know it, but they make themselves known. And they're in the North and they're in the East. So then I started thinking about the body. And I was like, okay, so you're telling me that there's a northern being, meaning there's a being that dominates from the solar plex up. And that there's another being that governs from the diaphragm down. Then it was like, but then there is a being that governs your right side, the East. And there's a being that governs your left side, the West. Tell me more. It explained that every single person has 4 major archetypes within them. And if you've never seen the movie Split, you need to go back and watch this with this knowledge. The entity that governs the northern side of you, that's headstrong, is a Sumerian deity known as Marduk. It is the god of thunder. That's why your brain flashes bolts of lightning. This god of thunder sometimes takes on the god of war. That's why sometimes your mind will convince you you're in competition with others. This is why your mind will sometimes make you feel like you have to fight others to get into a position of authority. That's the soldier within Kevin. You know, take the glasses off, stern, militant. That's the energy that tells you got to get out of bed when ain't nobody telling you got to get out of bed. That's the voice that's very militant to you. Because if you don't hit your markers, it's a time god. If you don't hit your markers, you fall out of a sequence that it needs you to be a part of. So it's very adamant about hitting you with a stern fist, an iron fist. Go, 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 go. And I'll be like, yo, what the fuck? I ain't in nobody's army. I ain't in nobody's military. What the fuck is this that's trying to tell me what I need to be doing with myself? Zeus, Shango, Enlil, to give you some other names. Then on the right side of you is the eastern side, the eastern stars. This is associated to Lilith. Now, each position of you has a cult that they are associated to. So Zeus, Enlil, has the military. FBI, CIA, all that is associated to the North. The might, the fist. Then you got the east side. That's an entity that governs government, is responsible for politics, is a good talker, political. When politics fail, war begins. That's why politics and war sit with each other. The North and the East sit with each other. That's why in America, the Northeast is where the war center is and the political center is. That's why the North tends to kind of govern the tone. The East Coast kind of governs the tone. So it's basically an energy or an entity that does everything it can to hide itself from you while still governing you. It wants to be in control of your light, your lies. Lilith. Now there's different names for this entity, but Lilith is the easiest way to conceptualize it. Now I can give you deeper names, Hera, Asherah, but just Lilith. Remember, where does Santa Claus go? To the North Pole. To control these elves, to force them to create tools that keep you hypnotized in the illusion. You then have the southern part of you. This is where the Leviathan hides. This is where Tiamat hides. This is where the great dragon hides. This is where the child hides. Where there's the mother, there's the son. This southern part of yourself is the Sedwin, is the little, my main man Drake in the movie Split. And if you pay attention to Egyptian lore, Apep or Apet dwells in the southern part of you, and it's frozen like you as a child, restricted, bound, hindered, stuck behind a wall. Southern side of you, the child. And guess what the child does? It brings forward the beast. And not all beasts are mammals. Godzilla is a beast, and he's a reptile. So, KJ was a manifestation of her inner child that called forward this entity to protect her against some of the trauma she was dealing with as a child. All right, Javan, what lost you? We don't want you to be lost. We're talking about the body. It's broken up into 4 sections. Your soul sits at the center of these 4 directions. So it is your light that ultimately governs the way. But there is something that is trying to advertise, like a radio, how you're directed. And I'm giving you a deeper understanding of who is the governing factor in these advertisements. When it comes to the upright version of you, or the northern version of you, or the North Star, the guiding star, you're being guided into war, into competition. When it comes to the right side of you, get it right, do what's right. You are being governed by something that is lying to you. Your light, your truth is being manipulated every chance it can. These is ops. You got 50% of you, that's an op. It wants to keep you in demon time, keep you in war time, or wants you to keep lying to yourself and make you feel like it's okay to be a liar. Keep in mind, silence is not a lie. You then have the southern part of you. That's the hidden part of you. Don't you wear pants? Don't you wear drawers? The rest of you may be exposed, but there's always a part of you that's covered. That's the southern part of you. That's the frozen part of you. That's the part of you that brings like attracts like. It's the child part of you that brings a child forward in the first place. But it ain't just a child. When the child cannot be a child, the child replaces itself with a beast. That's why in the movie Split, it was a beast. He was the beast. The child created the beast. You created something to protect yourself when you were young. But that beast has not been tamed. That beast has been set wild. That beast is kind of like going crazy. And it's because you have not figured out through the signs and symbols of life how to make your beast smart beast. The internet about to mess up. Give me a chance. Give me a minute. I'm driving. Let's go fix it. Let me know if it's still working, y'all. Let me know if it's still working. Now, this doesn't just have to do with a beast. It also has to do with an entity known as Pan. And this is an entity that was caught up in a spell by Tinkerbell to tinker with the bell. Ooh, that's a whole nother concept. The bell. But that is, once again, where's the bell? It's located in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is on the East Coast. So it is an eastern star. It is an eastern being that is tampering with the bell or Baal. Because another name for Enlil or Zeus is Baal. It's another concept of the northern deity or the northern being that tries to dictate and control the tone of that which is beneath it. So, a southern being, a southern, the bottom aspect of yourself, the hidden part of yourself. It's where your secrets is. It's where your instinct is. It's where your aggression is. It's where it's the side of you that comes out when you drink. Saying it was breaking up. It's working. I'm not sure. Is it working? We good. All right. And then there's now I said this because in the beginning I said that there was a reptile inside of my client. And we wanted to know how the hell this reptile got there in the first place. And it happened from her childhood. Her childhood created something that is stronger and more resilient than any human on this planet. This is called your beast. And your beast is supposed to be educated. Your beast is supposed to become smart. You're not supposed to be the Hulk that just smashes everything. You want to be smart Hulk. You don't want to be beast. You want to be smart beast. Now keep in mind, just like Stray just said, this also has to do with the aspects of the brain. The brain is broken up into 4 chambers. The heart is broken up into 4 chambers. The body is broken up into 4 chambers. You need to know the 4 chambers of oneself. There's a mammal part of your brain. There's a reptile part of your brain. There is an amphibian part of your brain. There is a bird or avian part of your brain. This is why we use the term bird brain. The bird in the West, the amphibian part of you sits in the East. The mammal part of you sits in the North. Remember, the North is the most governing part of you. So your mammal is the most governing aspect of you. But every so often you go low. You slither on your back like a serpent, like a snake. You are grounded. And you know the saying? Oh, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. The bird sits on the east side of you. My apologies. And the amphibian part of you sits on the western part of you. You know this because the bird does not fly with the serpent, does not fly with the snake. That's why Washington, D.C., East, adorns itself with an eagle. Because there is a war between the East and the South. There is a war between the Northeast and the Southwest. This is why literally the airline is called Southwest. You got to know these connections. You have to know these associations. These are all subconscious commands, subconscious programming. I think I'm gonna leave it here. Y'all got any questions? Cause I didn't say more than enough. I didn't say more than enough. Get you a past life regression, family. Y'all gotta see what's going on with y'all. I had one guy, he said he was subscribed to my channel for 4 years and fought getting a regression for the last 4 years. And within 10 minutes of the regression, he said that this was what he has been working on, discovering for the 30 years he's been on this journey. And within 10 minutes, he said he was able to accelerate 30 years of work. Thank you for always being. Thank you for being able to identify realness. I'm only as good as the energy I receive. I'm real because y'all understand realness. That's why I'm appreciative that y'all don't get lost to this internet. Because 99% of this internet is fake. Especially once you hit over 100,000 subscribers. Do you understand that there's only 1% people that's on YouTube that hit 100,000? So that means that the numbers of people being real over 100,000 is even lower. Because this thing will get to you. Once you start seeing what YouTube is willing to pay you to be fake, a lot of people choose the money. A lot of people choose the money. I want one, but I got too many demons. Sounds like you're defeative. You've already gave up on yourself. Who's to say demons are even bad? I just said the demons is more connected to nature and earth than your angels are. Don't be so easy to give up on yourself. You might have just been saying that to troll. And I mean, no doubt. No doubt. I won't judge you on that. But I really do want you to see that every time you're telling yourself you're not willing to go deeper within yourself, your body's listening. And your body is giving up on you slowly, every day. And you have to have a strong body to be able to handle what comes after this life. No, you will not have your body in your afterlife, but you will have your identity. And what you identify yourself as, you will continue with. And if you identify yourself as fear, you will reach fear. If you identify as weakness, your afterlife will be full of weakness. You're using your body to literally prepare yourself and to get yourself into a state where you are comfortable, confident in your afterlife. And if you letting some demons stop that, then shit, get ready for hell. If you letting what? Your finances stop that, get ready to be broken, because you just saying you broke. Yeah. Then you ain't never gonna be ready. Because ain't no time like now. What you waiting for? For someone to pay for it? You want me to give it to you for free? What if I would say I'll give you a free regression? You gonna take it? AV, you gonna take it if it's free? AV, I wanna give you a free regression. You gonna take it? Or you gonna give up on yourself? What you waiting for? Don't use money. And don't use fear. I'm extending something that costs $222. I could be fearful I'm going broke trying to help your ass out for free. I got a fear. I got a fear right now that I'm sitting here offering a service for free when I got bills, I got car payments, I got all that shit y'all got. I'm fearful as well, but I'm pushing through. It's a deep thing. It's a deep thing. Well, I think I'm about to start doing free 15-minute consultations. My phone number is available. It's on all my videos. It's on my website. Shoot me a text and say, hey, I want to set up my free 15-minute consultation. Well, pay for someone else's regression, AV. Thank you for being willing to pay. Pay for Inanna. There's Inanna Lilith. She up here. Inanna Lilith says she need one. If you're going to pay her forward. Do you see how the cycle works? We could do this together. If you're going to pay, you're going to pay for her to get one. And that way we can support each other. That way we can feel like we're united. This is a united front. CueReaves@gmail.com if y'all serious. CueReaves. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I gotta get ready to get dinner. Till next time.